Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Question: have you ever screwed up in life? Back in a few. Hey, this is Jan from New York City, and my channel name is Jan from New York City. Saves money, saves time, saves effort, and sometimes even sanity. We're going to talk a little bit on the sanity side today, get away from the budget side today. Going to talk about screw ups. Have you ever screwed up in your life? And the answer is I don't know a human being on the face of this earth who has not screwed up in life in some way, shape, manner, or form. Now, the screw ups can be as little as a pin dot, or the screw ups could be kind of sort of medium, or some listen to me, I just made a screw up, or sometimes downright blunders, like huge, like you might even feel in your head irreparable damage as far as certain things are concerned. We're going to talk about living in regret. We're going to talk about second chances. I believe that I come from a second chance God. That is my faith-based belief, okay? And actually, I believe I have a third chance, fourth chance, fifth chance God, but that's my personal belief. But I have to tell you something. Just knowing that alone takes a lot of burden off of me as a person, because I am a human being and human beings make mistakes. Every human being makes mistakes. The trick is, how do we deal with our mistakes? How do we react to our mistakes? And that could be huge, and it can affect everything in your life. Have you ever screwed up on a diet? Have you ever screwed up with your budget, your personal budget? Have you ever said the wrong thing to a loved one, a friend, a family member? And you know it in your heart, deep, deep down, that you have done that. And you walk around with this terrible, terrible burden. You probably know what I'm going to name it and claim it. That burden is called guilt. Walking around with guilt, let's compare it to this. It's like walking around with a 10-pound sack of potatoes and not ever, ever, ever being allowed to put those potatoes down. Just constantly walking around with something heavy, a burden, a yoke on your shoulder, or a potato sack in your hand. But no, 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 you're never allowed to put that thing down. Not good, ever, ever, ever. But the great news is we are allowed to put things down. And let me tell you something. If you have done something wrong, whether it's a teensy weensy thing, a medium sized thing, or if you just said the most terrible thing to a loved one, a friend, or family member, take heart. You can remedy this. In my opinion, and what works for me in my faith-based situation as a Christian. As a Christian, I would take my troubles first to the Lord. I would give my troubles to the Lord. I would ask the Lord for forgiveness. This is what works for me as a Christian. Everyone is not a Christian who is viewing this, but I'll call it under a general terminology for anyone viewing. Acknowledge first the mistake. Acknowledge the wrongdoing. If you walk around in denial, you could kind of shove it under the rug kind of thing. And it's like if you're trying to clean your room, right? You're sweeping a room and you have a rug and you're too lazy to put the dirt into the thing that you dispose the dirt of and get rid of it. And no, you swept it under a rug. Well, nobody else sees it. Somebody walks in from the outside. They see a clean floor. They see a rug. They don't know what's hiding under there, but you do. You do. And you live with this thing hiding under the rug all the time. And until you address the problem and pick up that rug and clean it and look at it for what it is and get rid of the darn dirt, the darn thing, it's never, ever, ever going to feel better. It's like walking around that 10-pound sack of potatoes. Living in regret is not a good place to be living. Living with guilt is not a good place to be living. And you know what's interesting? You always know that little voice that comes in your head, the small, still voice that comes into your head that says, you did wrong, you did wrong. You may do other activities to try to block it out of your mind. And guess what? It comes back. You did wrong, you did wrong. It never really goes away until it is addressed. It is a nagging thing, but maybe that nagging thing is a good thing. So we all have to acknowledge we're human beings. We all have to acknowledge that we screw up, whether it's little or it is big. But guess what? Help is on the way. Help is on the way if you acknowledge that thing. Acknowledge that thing, face it for what it is, and deal with it. And you know what? Apologizing is a wonderful, wonderful way to begin. Apologize for your mishap. Apologize for your mistake. And sometimes I would even call it a downright sin, whether it's a small sin or a bigger sin. Certain things are just not right. And until you get it right, you will not feel better about going forward. I'm right. Some of you watching might be saying, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. Well, some of you might be saying, but maybe I do want to hear this because I need to do something about that thing, whatever that thing may be. But do know it gets better. That's the good news part. It gets better. There is a happy ending to this, okay? There is a happy ending to this because never forget that it is never, ever too late for a second chance. Let me look at you directly. It is never, ever too late for a second chance. And if you don't believe me, you will find out by addressing your problem and getting rid of the darn thing. So you start by making it right, apologizing and acknowledging and just getting it off your shoulder. And not only that, doing better. Make this an opportunity or take this as an opportunity to do good, to do better. Make somebody else's day brighter. Learn from that mistake. Learn from that burden that you were carrying around. Have you ever had an argument with a close friend or family member and you didn't speak for a long time? That's really bad because guess what? Time you never get back. Time you never get back. I live with certain regrets too, like with timing, for example. This is on a completely different level. I was contemplating starting this channel a long time before I actually did. In fact, I wasted an entire year of my life not doing it just by staying inactive and living in analysis paralysis, so to speak, where it kind of like keeps you in one place and you're not getting the job done. Till one day, I just, with a little help from close friends, got pushed out that helicopter window. And you know the story of Steve. He was very instrumental in pushing me out the helicopter window. And then I took it off from there. Okay. Then I took it off from there. Am I in the place that I want to be channel wise? No, because there really is no specified place for me at the moment other than just doing improved videos and giving quality messages to wonderful people. And that's like the most important thing for me, giving good messages of quality videos to the people who want to be here. If you don't want to be here, that's of course someone's choice and that's everyone's choice. But if you want to be here and you want to get what, in my opinion, are hopefully trying my best, good quality messages, that's my end goal, to tell you the truth. But getting back to this, and guess what? You know what? You're entitled to be happy, and you cannot walk around in a state of happiness if you have those little nitpicking, nagging burdens going on. Am I right or am I right? You know the answer. You know it's true. So there. So everyone has a second chance, even a third, even a fourth, but always get up, dust yourself off, try again, but do acknowledge the wrongdoing. It could be something teensy weensy, like borrowing. Let's say you're younger, okay? You really like your older sister's lipstick, and you didn't ask her permission to use it, and you just took it, and then she can't find it when she's looking for it because you misplaced it. Well, the first thing you did wrong was not ask permission, right? Okay? And you know in your heart, if she acknowledges, well, where is it, and all this and all that, and if you didn't say you took it and misplaced it or whatever, you know in your heart, you just don't feel right about it. Just saying, it could start from the grassroots level as something as, quote, minor, but it's really not minor because no one should take anything of anyone else's without their permission. It's just wrong, right? You know that. All right. Well, listen, hopefully someone out there has received this message because God put it in my heart to give this message today, and not a budget message, Don't worry about budget messages from me because you have over 700, something like 750, close to it. So every once in a while, I like to give a personal growth, spiritual message from my heart. Okay? I have to listen. You have to listen to that still small voice. Everyone have an amazing upcoming day, and I look forward to seeing you again when? Real soon. Have a great day.